That reminds me of when I first fell in love. You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
If you can't tell, this is a Deuce Ace movie review for Spider-Man Far From Home.
I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace, and this is Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies. I'll let you start this one off, Deuce.
Alright, so we're coming off the phenomenal Avengers Endgame. Coming into this thing like, how does it finish? Where does Spider-Man pick up from here? And it starts right off. This is Spider-Man Far From Home, and boy, are they far from home.
What? They actually start off right at home, but...
hold on.
I'm not going to get into it. But Deuce is right. It does pick up, maybe not right after. Well, yeah, kind of immediately, I guess, during Endgame and after Endgame. So any questions you had, how's the world gonna look post Thanos, post all of that, this lets you know. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're gonna love this movie. Personally, Spider-Man's always been my favorite superhero, so I always love seeing him on screen, except for the Amazing Spider-Mans. Those movies sucked. But this one, best Spider-Man movie yet.
Well, come on, let's not jump right into our sentiments. Let's let's talk about the movie a little bit. So, this is a Spider-Man movie. It's not an Avengers movie.
It's called Spider-Man.
It's not Avengers 2.5 or 4.76. It's a Spider-Man movie, a Spider-Man story that is funneled and fueled with what happened in Endgame. It of course stars Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Zendaya as MJ. It's her name? No, it's Michelle. But MJ, what's Ned's name?
Jacob Batalon. As Ned.
Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson, Kobe Smulders, Jake Gyllenhaal, The Mysterio. Who else is in here?
Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. You got Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. He has some good parts of this movie.
So everyone, with the exception of a couple people, but all the main characters from Homecoming are here. It's a continuation again of that movie and Avengers Endgame. So they go to Europe. During this time, the Elementals are wreaking havoc on various European cities. Who's there to save today? Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal. And so, as you can see from the previews, he gets in contact with Nick Fury and Maria Hill. I guess they're not S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. That's Agent Coulson and what's going on ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. currently airing if you're watching this during summer 2019. And so, as you've seen from the commercial, he's from another dimension. He's from another dimension, Earth 829 or whatever it is. This is Earth 6626, hashtag Lilo and Stitch.
616.
But, and so, so he saves the day. And that's where the movie jumps off. And, we can't really say too much more about that until we get into the spoiler section of our video. So, yeah, anything else that's not spoiler, because chopping at the bit to get to the spoilers.
Let's just talk about, overarching things about the movie. The comedy in this movie, hilarious. Ned is always funny. Happy Hogan is randomly hilarious in this movie. The character interactions are amazing. It's a lot of good chemistry between Zendaya and Tom Holland, Jacob Batalon. So there's some good character moments in this movie. And the special effects on this movie, maybe the best I've seen in a Marvel movie.
I'm going to say, it's some trippy stuff going on. Like, this is genre breaking, this is game breaking, this is game changing. It's not just a Marvel movie. Like, we'll get to it in the spoiler section, but OMG, see this show on IMAX.
I know that. Let's get into these scores so we can talk about...
Let's talk about the positives and then, get into... Okay, so yeah, the character interactions, or the comedy. I love the comedy, and to be honest, I didn't like Homecoming.
Whoa. Homecoming is one of my favorite MCU movies.
Be that as it may, I didn't like it. I thought it was too childish. I thought it was too high schooly.
Spider-Man's a child, yes.
No, he is an adolescent youth.
He's like 14. That's basically a child.
You know, it was too childish for me, and it was just like I didn't care about these characters. I only liked Ned. I didn't even like Tom Holland as Peter Parker. Like, I know a lot of people did. I like him as Spider-Man, but his Peter Parker was just whiny and so young. But in this one, this is my personal opinion. I like all the characters. I like Tony Ravioli. What's the Indian dude's name?
Flash?
Yeah, but
I don't know
the actor's name, you know, IMDb him.
It's not Ravioli.
You know, he was kind of annoying in the first one, but everything is more balanced. Like, the character interactions are balanced.
As all things should be. Status quo.
So the character interactions are balanced, and, you know, the comedy is balanced, the seriousness is balanced, the stakes are balanced, and it's just a much more well-balanced movie.
You said balance like 10 times.
Yes. So, yeah, you know, the only negative I had to say about the comedy and the characters was J.B. Smoove. Like,
and the other teacher, too.
The other teacher, you didn't need both teachers. Like, it was just a little too much. But other than that, comedy was pretty good.
Another thing, non-spoiler. In this movie, Peter Parker is extremely relatable. I mean, we've all, assuming you're of an older age, we've all been to high school. We've all been there like, oh, does she like me? Do I like...
Actually, I went from middle school to college.
You know, we've all been through what Peter and MJ are going through. Like, do I like her? Does she like me? And it's just, it's cute to see their interactions. Like, I remember being in high school, man. Like, I remember... in high school, I remember like girls liking me liking girls, and like you don't know how to act all the time, and it's nice to see that in films.
Yes, I would agree that if I'm giving weird looks and we're laughing, it's just we're brothers, so you know I know the girls he didn't get, but
girls, you know who you are.
But okay, but seriously, it was like, you know, in the first movie it was reserved as to who she was, if she liked him, like, yeah, I guess she's kind of dark or whatever you want to, you know, call her. And it was just annoying, like, went on for too long. And this one's, there's that will they, won't they, do they, don't they. And it was just like, yes, nice interactions. And it was resemblance of two nerds in high school. And that was, you know, very heartwarming.
But yeah, character interactions are crazy, you know. MJ, Peter, they're all good together. But the action in this movie is what really sold it to me. Seeing the elementals, obviously they weren't realistic because there aren't giant elemental monsters in real life, but they look kind of real. Seeing Mysterio and his stuff, this is my favorite web slinging kind of flipping around Spider-Man I've seen yet.
Agreed. Like, there's certain scenes, especially early on in the movie, when Spider-Man is working with Mysterio, like, just the way this is the best iteration of Spider-Man doing Spider-Man stuff ever. Like, just the flips and the acrobatics of it all, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah. And, you know, I've always been a fan of the Sam Raimi films, but for me, Tom Holland is my definitive Spider-Man now. Agree?
Spider-Man, sure. Peter Parker, still not so...
I think it's good for what this Peter Parker is. So, you know, he's a nerdy high school student. They kind of went into his genius intellect a little bit in this film, which I like to see. But, you know, just seeing him deal with real-world problems. In the Raimi films, he was he in high school in the first one?
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, all right, but he was like kind of like grown college age for most of it, so we didn't see him really be quirky. He was just kind of by himself a lot. And the Andrew Garfield movies, he just sucked. But in these ones, I really enjoy what he brings as Peter Parker, the youthfulness, the energy. It feels like he's an actual high school student.
Excuse me.
Oh my god.
As you were saying, actual high school student.
Yeah, it feels like he's an actual high school student.
Yeah, and I like that because Tobey Maguire, this dude was clearly a grown old dude playing a young dude. Andrew Garfield was clearly not a nerd playing a nerd. And so I do like Tom Holland, but I'm ready for him to grow up. And we can get more into that in the spoiler section. But yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, so I think it's time for these scores.
I think it's time.
I think it's time.
It is definitely time.
It most assuredly is time.
It's time.
3, 2, 1.
9.5. Alright, that's an average of 9.25. So, as you can tell, we love this movie.
We love this.
So we're about to get into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't keep watching, but make sure you like, subscribe, Drop a comment down below. Tell us what you want to hear next from us. Follow us on all of our social medias. We don't have an official Facebook. Twitter, Instagram. We post stuff on Reddit sometimes. So
Bro to the movies.
yeah, just look out for us.
Spoilers. All right, man. Where you want to start, man? Like, oh my God. Man, like, I know where I want to start. Where do you want to start?
I mean, what better place to start than just the beginning? So this movie starts like, I mean, the very first scene, it's Nick Fury and Maria Hill there in Mexico, and they see the Earth Elemental, and Mysterio just shows up, and for some reason,
you don't want no part of this.
Yeah, real tight scene. Let us know what we're getting into as soon as we get there, and I love Mysterio in this movie. Yeah, come on, Dad. I mean, if you're a comic book fan, you know who Mysterio is. Going in, I'm like, man. I mean, Mysterio's obviously a villain, so knew there was going to be a twist, but to see them work it into this movie was amazing.
Yes, the twist was amazing, and Jake Gyllenhaal's performance was amazing, because even though in the back of my mind, I knew that he's Mysterio, this is fake, he sold it. Like, there was nothing in the movie while I'm watching that's like, obviously it was nothing like that.
Yeah, there was nothing to let you know that there was going to be a twist. Yeah,
I genuinely believed that, maybe he is from another Earth. Like, maybe he's Quentin Beck from another Earth. And
I didn't believe all that.
Okay, well, it's still well acted, and his performance and portrayal and interactions with Peter Parker were believable. Now, what we like about the twist, again, spoilers. So, it's revealed that he's Mysterio. He's not.
He's been Mysterio the whole time. That Mysterio is a bad guy.
A bad guy. He's not from another Earth. All of this is illusion, and it's very cool how they do it through drones and modern technology. So all those videos about multiverse, this and that, so, but it was still cool. And so, just like with Toomes, the Vulture in Homecoming, Quentin Beck is a result of Tony Stark and his negligence. So it turns out that Quentin Beck was the one who made the barf technology. That's what it is, barf.
Yeah, I don't know what it stands for.
Yeah. But it's from Civil War, the opening scene of Civil War, where Tony Stark, like, makes it so that he's young and he's talking to
the hologram technology.
Yeah, the hologram technology. And so that was Quentin Beck's technology that Tony Stark stole from him.
Quentin Beck worked for Tony Stark, so he was a proprietor of this technology, but he worked for Stark Industries, and he didn't like that Tony Stark just used it for himself instead of trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, what did he say when he's depressed or something? Like, Tony said, I use this from a happy place or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, but so the whole group of people, and like this is
my therapy. That's what he says.
Oh yeah, my therapy. And so so we're jumping all over the place. But if you've seen in the previews, Tony Stark gives Peter Parker after his death some glasses, and it's the Edith. It stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero.
Yes, that sounds right.
Pause. Edith, even dead, I'm the hero. So Tony Stark, haha, he's dead, but haha, I'm still the hero with these glasses. These glasses are like overpowered, over tech, everything. They can hack into stuff. You can get drones and bombs and crazy. So Peter Parker is like, hey, I'm too bad for these. Here you go, Quentin Beck.
Sounds nothing. Are you jumping around? Before that, Quentin Beck and Peter Parker, they were working together to fight the Elemental, so Quentin gained Peter's trust. He's not randomly giving these glasses to Mysterio. He thought that Mysterio could be the next Iron Man.
Yes, through manipulation and the seriousness of, the delivery from Jake Gyllenhaal and Quentin Beck. So he gets this, and so he's in the bar, and all the illusions fades away, from the drones, and it turns out all these scientists work for Stark Industries, and they were jaded. And what a callback, what directing, what writing, whatever, that the guy who Obadiah Stane is yelling at in the first Iron Man movie is one of the jaded employees who's working with Quentin Beck. And it was just, you knew the twist was coming, but who would know that they would, just... I like that twist.
Yeah, it was an amazing twist. And, some people, they say they don't like that Spider-Man story has so much to do with Iron Man, but I think it works for the MCU. In the comics, obviously Spider-Man and Iron Man aren't that close, but here, it's not that Iron Man is Spider-Man's Uncle Ben, but he's like that father figure that Spider-Man doesn't have anymore. So now that he has to live in a world post-Iron Man, post-snap number...
Or blip.
Yeah, what the blip, whatever they call it. I mean, just to see him try to grow out from under Iron Man's shell, and to see him make mistakes, to see him second guess himself, is just amazing character building for Spider-Man.
I'm one of those people who say I don't like how they're so intrinsically linked, whatever the word is.
Intrinsically.
Sure, that. But yeah, I don't like it, but it does make for good story points. To me is like takes away from Peter Parker. He could only grow as a result of the steps and story points that Tony Stark set. But it's still creative writing in that they went back to the first Iron Man. Like, was that their plan the whole time?
No. Well, I don't even know if this actor's the same actor from that scene. Like, they might... Because,
well, yeah,
with the barf scene, Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't there. So they may just be making stuff up as they go along, but it was still pretty tight.
Well, yeah. I think we talked enough about that, but we mentioned the blip. So I know for Endgame it was called Decimation, but in this movie, after the opening scene, it's in memoriam to Tony Stark, Natasha Romanoff, Vision. They kind of completely forgot about Vision in Endgame, but that's neither here nor there. And
remember Scarlet Witch fought Thanos, you took everything from me, so she remembers Vision.
Yeah, but no one else did. This is Spider-Man review discussion. And Captain America, because, again, the world doesn't know he came back as an old man. And so this is Betty Brant and that other Spanish guy, and they're doing the news. And so it shows, like, it's a cool scene to show how the decimation took place live from these people's perspectives. So it shows the marching band, they're practicing, and then the snap happens. They disappear. Then when Iron Man does the re-snap,
5 years later,
the blip, they come back to the same spot as themselves with a 5 year older marching band. So it's just crazy, again.
No, the marching band is everyone who was there beforehand is 5 years older. Everyone who got blipped away, they're still the same age, but everyone who was still on Earth is 5 years older because time continued to pass.
Correct. So that's why there's a new student in the group. He was previously 5 years younger than them, but now he grew up while they stayed the same, and so
yeah, he's like 21 and still going to high school with them. So
no, he's not 21. He is their age now. He was younger than them.
Are you sure? I thought he was 16, like a young lame 16-year-old. Now he's supposed to be older than them.
No, why would he be a 21-year-old in high school with them?
Exactly.
No, he was younger than them, and now he's their age. That's why he's with them.
I don't know, Seth.
Well,
no, because they were talking about, I remember him. He was, now it's weird to see him all grown up because they wouldn't have known him if he was 5 years younger than them.
All right, so enough of that. People back. Cool opening scene. Well, second opening scene.
But not enough of that. I do like how, this is a major happening. A lot of people thought they were just going to gloss over it to get to the next story point. But no, you see Aunt May's talked about, when she got blipped back into existence, she was at some random people's home. They thought she was a ghost or something. So now she's starting a homeless fundraiser for everyone who got blipped back to existence. So it's just very cool to see them attribute some real-world problems that would happen if half of the population just disappeared and reappeared.
We talked about that. We talked about Mysterio. And again, Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, very nuanced. And just, Mysterio is like if you're watching this and you're a Mysterio fan, I'm sorry. He's not a top-tier Spider-Man villain. He's always around, but at least up until this point, he's never been like that dude. And the use of the drones and technologies to make these illusions was marvelously done. Pun intended.
Yeah, I agree. He's not a top... Even in this movie, he's not really, top-tier villain. He's not, he is threatening some people, but he's not a major threat to the world at any point in time throughout this movie. So I'd still say he's, second, third tier in Spider-Man's rogue galleries, even after this portrayal.
Yeah, but regardless of his tier, the performance is still there. It's so believable, if you can believe that there's drones everywhere. But, it makes sense in this world. And, just when it's not even just an illusion. I remember on the Spider-Man cartoon, it's a lot of smoke and, magic type stuff. This dude is not even there. So what you see of Mysterio is all hologram. And, he's practicing the movements of the elementals. And it's just, I thought it was very visually stunning and very cool.
Agreed. But, we keep talking about Mysterio, but one more thing before I move on. It's the one scene where Spider-Man goes to confront Mysterio after finding out that he's a fraud. and you see Mysterio's, how Spider-Man sees Mysterio's illusions, and this was amazing. Like
amazing.
Like I don't really read a lot of comics, but I've also played. I play video games for Mysterio's, and I've watched the cartoons and stuff with them in it. I've always thought, like, man, like, Spider-Man just, like, close his eyes and beat up Mysterio. It was super realistic how it just takes away all of Spider-Man's senses, makes him second-guess what is real, what is not real. And it was just crazy to see how a regular human being can overpower super strength, super senses, all that with just illusions.
Yeah, I mean, just a very stunning scene. Like, that's why I said earlier to see it in IMAX. Like, it's just... I can't even describe it. You just got to go see it in theaters. Like, that's the only way you could appreciate this scene. Like, it's not just a good Spider-Man scene. It's not just a good Marvel scene. It's not just a good superhero scene. It's a good cinematic experience, you know, from what he put Spider-Man through.
There's a whole lot of Easter eggs in there if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What's his name? Emergency Awesome will probably put him out.
Shut up.
But so yeah, you know, and that leads to the, you know, the next battle with Mysterio. So, Spider-Man gets beat up, sent to the Netherlands or Finland.
He got hit by a train and almost died.
Yeah. So he goes confronts Mysterio again, and so it's been alluded to that this iteration of Peter Parker Spider-Man has spider sense. We saw the hair raise in Infinity War.
We saw him use it in Civil War too. He had a spider sense then.
I can't remember that. But
was that your thing turning off?
No, it's a toy truck.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's alluded to that he has spider sense. It's never been said spider sense, and it's not called spider sense in this movie. It is called Peter Tingle.
Yeah, Aunt May like, oh, your Peter Tingle is on the fritz.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny, nice running gag, happy Aunt May, and so we get to see him utilize his Peter Tingle, his spider sense, and again, cool scene. Mysterio is given the illusions, but Spider-Man is really, and it's never really explained why he couldn't use it before. He just like, come on, please work, and when it works, again, amazing scene. He can sense the drones, and as a result, is able to fight the illusion. I thought you would add on the last scene. So,
you set me up for the alley-oop. I wasn't ready. Yes. All right. So he's able to fight the drone, sense through the illusion, and then he's confronting Mysterio, and you're talking, and you hear a gunshot go off. Turns out that Mysterio was also an illusion. He used his Peter Tingle one more time to stop a bullet mid-flight. Crazy. Like, again, this is the, in addition to the web swing. And while I will say it's weird because they're in Europe, like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, it's so much New York. Like the video games, it's so much New York. It's weird to see him swinging in Europe. But anyway, the web swing was on point, and just Spider-Man being Spider-Man and fighting and flipping and destroying the drones. Oh, yeah. And at this thing, his web shooters aren't working, so he's just going hand to hand with all the drones at this point in time.
He, almost Captain America, he got a little shield. It's just, it was
I don't think it's really a homage to Captain America. And we see him like being able to outthink. It's like, I forget what it is, like one drone is like exploding and shooting in the sky. Like we see him use his brain and not just his brawn, which I feel like we don't get in a lot of Spider-Man films.
But great scene, great action, great movie.
Amazing movie.
Amazing. But not the Amazing Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yes.
Okay, so there's two end credit scenes, mid credits, end credits, whatever it's called. The first one is related to Spider-Man.
Well, we kind of skipped a whole lot of the movie. Spider-Man, MJ, they both like each other, and they get together at the end of the movie.
Yes, and it's a very realistic, like, awkward first kiss, and it's like, aww.
I don't know if I made that sound, but yes, it was very cathartic to see Spider-Man and MJ finally get together.
So there's two end credit scenes. And, again, you just gotta watch this movie. There's a lot of details we could talk about and discuss, but just watch this movie. Like, go watch this movie.
Right now.
Press pause. Okay, you're back? How was the movie? Oh, yes. So now we're going to talk about the end credit scenes. So, Peter Parker and MJ, they said they were going on a date, but they don't really go on a date. They kind of just...
The date was them swinging around so that she could, swing with him one time.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm never doing this again. And so then on the Jumbotron in New York, the J. Jonah Jameson, and by the...
J.K. Simmons back at it again.
Yes, so
the definitive J. Jonah Jameson.
This is not like a meta crossover. This is not no other world. This is just J.K. Simmons playing bald J. Jonah Jameson, and it's not the Daily Bugle like the publication. It seems like they're making him like a a blogger.
It seemed kind of like InfoWars for Alec Jones, like that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going that direction, but it was definitely again modernized take, and just like wow, like I mean he is J. Jonah Jameson like for so many people, and so it's great to see him. But turns out Mysterio, while he was
Mysterio may be dead.
Mysterio may be dead. Yeah, so at the final battle after Spider-Man catches the bullet,
I don't even think he catches the bullet. He just like blocks his hand or something.
Wait, so how does Mysterio die? I was like,
Alright, so he's like drones attack him. They're like, "Oh, you're in the crosshairs. You make a shot." He's like, "I don't care." So one of the drones shoots him on accident.
Yeah, so Mysterio may or may not be dead. And now back to the back to the end credit scene. Mysterio, even in his death, has set up Spider-Man. He recorded everything that was happening and cut it so that it looks like Spider-Man is actively killing Mysterio. Because again, to the rest of the world, Mysterio is the hero. They don't know the back plot. They don't know, his villainous plan. So now everyone knows that Spider-Man has supposedly killed Mysterio, and that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Secret identity out the window.
But so it's crazy to see what's gonna happen in Spider-Man Homeless 3 or whatever, or like any of these future movies. And some of my favorite Spider-Man storylines are when the world is against him. J. Jonah Jameson always hated him for some reason, and we just want to see how he's gonna be a hero when the world hates him.
Yeah, so blew the cap off the lid.
Yeah, probably the best. What? The cap is the lid.
Yeah,
but I lost my train of thought. Yeah, man. Probably my favorite mid-credit scene out of all the MCU movies so far, because it just sets up whatever the next movie will be so greatly. Like, it's like they wet your whistle. You just want so much more Spider-Man after this.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wets the whistle. All right, so
there's one more post-credit scene.
Yeah, so you stay through the credits. It's always good to stay through the credits. These people work hard for the films, so give them some respect by just acknowledging that they exist. So you stay through the credits. Now, we've mentioned Nick Fury, Maria Hill have been in this movie, and in retrospect, there were some things that were a little odd. Like you may question it throughout the movie, but for the most part, you don't suspect nothing. Turns out that they're Skrulls, and not only are they Skrulls, they are the Skrulls from Captain Marvel. If you've seen our review, you know we didn't like the movie, but the Skrulls were interesting. This is Talos and his wife.
Was it his wife?
They all kind of look the same. I assume because they're together that it's his wife.
I would think that his wife would be with like the children or so. Well, that was like
sexist much.
I mean, his whole thing was protect my family, so I would think one of them will be with their family. It's two Skrulls. One of them has been Mendelsohn's Talos.
Talos and another Skrull, most likely his wife. And so they are Nick Fury and Maria Hill. And they're like, hey, things kind of went crazy. And who is he talking to? Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, who is in space right now.
With the rest of the Skrulls.
With all the Skrulls. Now, does that mean he's been in... that this Nick Fury from the 90s has been Talos this whole time? Who knows? Is this to open the door for Secret Wars or Secret Invasion? Probably not, because this iteration of Skrulls is good and they're not like evil. They're working with Nick Fury. But it's just, again... blows the cap off the lid. What is that saying?
What? What saying are you trying to say?
Anyway,
it blows the lid off or blows the cap off?
But it's just so many story options. It's crazy. Like you can dislike a Marvel movie, but you cannot ignore the interconnectivity of it all. You cannot ignore Kevin Feige's genius plan.
Yeah, man. And as Deuce said earlier, like, there were some weird things. When Spider-Man brings up Captain Marvel, Nick Fury says, don't invoke her name. I'm like, whoa, why is he so high on Captain Marvel? Well, if you remember, she's a savior to the Skrulls, so a Skrull would be like, don't invoke her name. There's a scene where they're like, oh, there's a Kree sleeper cell on Earth somewhere. And like, well, what is Nick Fury going to do about the Kree? Well, the Kree and Skrulls are ancient enemies, so obviously they're going to be keeping tabs on this. And it's just... like so amazing that they thought to do this.
Yeah, and so again, while this is a 100% Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man is part of the MCU, and it does a great job of wetting the whistle for what's to come in Phase 4.
Alright, man, but whatever it is, I am ready for Phase 4.
I'm ready.
You know, the Infinity Saga is over. I just want to say thank you. I don't know where it would be without the MCU right now. Alright!
Okay, so yes, as always, thank you for watching this video. Please comment, like, and definitely subscribe.
And share, let your friends know. You know, once we get to 50 subs, we'll have something special for you guys out there.
Yeah, real special. I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace.
And this has been Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies. Out.